Now, the former Bosnian Serb commander Ratko Mladic is expected to appear in court at The Hague today, despite his lawyers claiming he's suffering from cancer. He faces charges of genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. But what can we expect? Toby Cadman is from the law firm 9 Bedford Row, and he's worked at the International Court at The Hague. Toby, good morning to you. How will it compare? How does it compare with other courts?
Well, it's a very, very different procedure. This morning, his initial appearance will, in all likelihood, be a very short hearing. It will generally amount to a reading of the indictment, although the judge may consider to waive that due to the length of the indictment. And then what would normally happen in this morning's hearing is that the defence will, in all likelihood, request an additional 30 days to consider the indictment before any further action is taken. The main difference that you're likely to see is that things move a lot slower at an international tribunal than an ordinary criminal trial.
Big problem as well at the outset is that some people don't even recognise the court has the right to exist or the right to try them. Ratko Mladic may well take that position. How will the court get around that?
Well, it certainly wouldn't be the first time that they'd have to deal with that. When they have the hearing to take his plea, if he refuses to recognise the jurisdiction of the tribunal, then they will just enter a plea of not guilty. One of the questions that will have to be asked of him, however, is on his defence team, whether he will be electing counsel or whether he will be seeking to represent himself. That's obviously something that the tribunal will have to deal with, as they had to deal with Slobodan Milosevic, they had to deal with Radovan Karadzic, so they'll have to deal with that with him as well.
You said there that proceedings often drag out and take quite a long time. I mean, for Slobodan Milosevic, I mean, he dragged out proceedings for more than 5 years and died before his trial ended. Can anything be done to bring more speedy justice to this particular trial?
Well, you have to be quite careful because there's obviously a lot of media comment as to the fairness of proceedings before international tribunals. And they've got to ensure that, and I imagine the tribunal will bend over backwards to ensure that he has a fair trial. So it's very difficult to say that they just want to speed up the process, because he has to be given an opportunity to present his case, and the prosecution has to be given an opportunity to present their case in what is a huge indictment. Now, they may consider to reduce the scale of the charges against him.
They might just focus on what happened at Srebrenica rather than everything else.
Well, they may do. There's also the question of whether, and I know there's been some comment this week by the ICTY prosecutor Serge Bramats about joining it with Karadzic. That's obviously been discussed, and then there's also a possibility that Radovan Karadzic himself would request the two cases to be joined. But obviously, by focusing on certain elements, it does reduce the length of the trial, but then it would then exclude certain charges against him. For example, what happened in Croatia. And also, one of the great concerns, and I myself having spent a number of years in Sarajevo, there is obviously great concern that no senior military leader will ever face trial for the siege of Sarajevo. Of course, those are allegations that he faces.
Just how important do you see these proceedings against him? We've seen Milosevic in court, we've seen Karadzic, but how important is Mladic as an accused person?
Well, without wishing to prejudge the case, he's probably the most important.
Why is that? Because he was responsible day to day for those military actions?
Well, those are the allegations, yes. I mean, he was the senior military leader, particularly for Srebrenica. I mean, he is deemed to be the person most responsible.
Now, in the meantime, while this trial gets underway, he will be in custody at The Hague, and we're told that he may have had cancer, or may still have cancer. What do you think his day-to-day living conditions will be like there?
Well, having visited the the detention unit myself. I wouldn't ever like to say that any detention facility has nice facilities, but they are as high a standard of facilities as you're likely to see. Obviously, they will have to seriously look into the allegations of his medical condition and whether he is physically fit to stand trial.
Okay, Toby, thank you very much indeed for that. That's Toby Cadman from the law firm 9 Bedford Row.